Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you joined me today. I have a couple of questions for you. You think you don't know how to cook? Well, would you like to learn how to cook? If you desire to cook, I'm here to help you. So if you'd like to learn more, stay tuned. Welcome back. I'm so glad you stayed tuned. So you want to learn how to cook. It's easy. It's easier than you think. You think you can't cook, but if you desire to cook and you can follow a recipe, if you can read a recipe or follow verbal cues on what to do, you can cook. There are some basic things that you don't need a recipe for, but certain things that you do. And there's plenty of places to find recipes. You can pick up magazines in the store. We have these little things, that Weight Watchers puts out for Weight Watcher friendly meals, 15 minutes, 5 ingredients. Those are helpful. You have celebrity cookbooks. I love this one. I use it a lot. And then you have different nostalgia cookbooks. When I was starting to cook, I was gifted this Southern Living cookbook. This was a whole series. I can't find many of the ones in here. This was the poultry one, and it's dated for 1976 is when it was printed. So you may find some retro recipes in here. And things like this. It has a roasting chart. This is a poultry recipe cookbook. It has a roasting chart for your different birds, their different weights. It has cooking aids, abbreviations. If you find an abbreviation in a cookbook, what does that mean? There's ways of finding it out. The equivalents, 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. So you have a recipe that calls for a tablespoon. I cannot find my tablespoon, but here's my teaspoon. 3 of these will work. So you'll learn these things as you go. And you may have a favorite dish that you grew up with. So if you find some of these cookbooks, you may find a good recipe. We go to used book sales, thrift stores, yard sales. You can find these old cookbooks anywhere. Some of the recipes you want to forget about, like everything was made in Jell-O. Nobody really likes that. My husband talks about his mother's cowboy casserole, and I get a dirty look from him when I mention that, or tuna noodle casserole 3 times a week. Yeah, but there's some basics in here. The first time I cooked Thanksgiving dinner, I used the recipe out of this poultry cookbook. So this is a valuable. Now I've changed it up a little bit. When I cook a turkey, I add some other things to it, but that will come. But I followed step by step the recipe in this book at the time. My mother gave me this holiday cookbook. It's dated 1988. And I pull this out every Christmas. It has cookies and beverage recipes. I make the spiced tea mix that came out of here. All kinds of cookies. The only way I've made, cut out sugar cookies that do not get fat in the oven is a recipe from here. I don't know if you ever made cookies like that. You put them in, you cut them out, they're nice and pretty. And when you take them out, they expanded so much, it's so distorted you can't tell that's Santa Claus, But, you have this is another Southern Living. It's dated 1983. It's all cookies. I bought this one at a used book sale at a library. It's breakfast and brunches. I've used this one a lot. Make your biscuits, your pancakes, your waffles from scratch. You can do it. You don't have to buy a mix. It's, really easier than you think. You may have a lot of ladies that go out together from your church and made a church cookbook. Some of these recipes are wonderful because, if you go to a potluck at church, you're going to find some delicious dishes, and those dishes are in print for you to make. Now, if you're just learning, We bought these at Fort Pickens. They're like period era cookbooks. Some of the recipes in here are very vague, where it says put a little bit of sugar in here. How much is a little bit? You may put too much, you may put too little. Once you have a little experience, you can figure things out. Some things are trial and error, but I don't recommend using one of these. They're very nice to have, and I would use it later if you like to. But if it's very vague, I would suggest you wait until you have a little bit of cooking experience before you start off. Don't make this your first one. We love our Instant Pot. We have a cookbook full of recipes to use the Instant Pot. And Instant Pot is a brand, just like Crock Pot is a brand. Instant Pot is a electric pressure cooker. And, a slow Crock Pot is a slow cooker. Those are brand names. So if you have a cookbook of another name, we bought a little pan this came with. This is Irish cookbook. There's some fun things. We're Star Trek fans. I know we're geeks, but this one, it was a fun one. My husband saw it online and he gave it to me for Christmas one year. It does have some real recipes in here, but it has a lot of fun things in there. I don't know if you would call this a serious cookbook or not, but it was fun to have. And you can find these little recipe tins. So many things. And my experience, I started off cooking, with my grandmother. We would get in the kitchen and make cakes together. And, she had always made, baked goods from scratch. So when, she picked up a cake mix for the first time, she thought that was the best thing since sliced bread. And, it was easy. It was but it was experience. I learned how to measure. It takes a certain amount of oil. It takes eggs. How do you crack an egg? Did I get eggshells in it? I still do. But you watch it. You learn tricks to get the eggshells out, and you watch for things like that. But I learned measuring things. When I was raising my girls, we learned measuring things. And helped them learn their fractions in school. And but today, if you want to use a cake mix and you want to doctor it up, there's cookbooks to help you with that. You add certain ingredients to a base cake mix and it tastes like you made a cake from scratch. And so I would make cakes with my grandmother. Now, am I a chef? Did I go to culinary school? No, I did not. Everything I learned is just from my experience in my 58 years of living. Here's one that my company put together. Anytime we had a potluck at work, these recipes are in there. I've not used this one yet, but it's just like campfire recipes. I can't wait to use these. We're visiting some friends that are camping near us, so we may use some of these recipes there. Now, did I make everything successfully? No. Do I still make everything successfully? No. I still have failures, and you will too. You just have to be patient. Don't give up. The first time I made gravy, you could literally hang wallpaper with it. I mean, it was just so thick and not good for anything. I had trouble making meringue, and meringue is when you separate an egg. And separating the egg, when you crack it open, you have the yellow, which is the yolk, and then the clear part is what you call the whites. So you separate the yolks from the white, and you usually use the yolks for your recipe. In this case, I was making banana pudding. So I used the yolk for the pudding, and I used the whites to make egg meringue. It took lots of trial and error to learn how to make a meringue. I thought I cannot make a meringue to save my life, but I finally mastered it. And one of the first times I mastered it was I made the banana pudding. Okay, so I had this beautiful truffle bowl, and I was going to a potluck at church. So I made the banana pudding, I layered it in, I made this banana pudding from scratch. And so I layered it in my beautiful truffle bowl. It was really pretty. And the meringue just turned out perfect. It had all the stiff peaks on it and everything. It was beautiful. I was so proud of that dish. So, but usually, meringue is toasted on the top. So I wanted to brown the meringue. But here it was in this glass truffle bowl. And I thought, I know you can't put glass in the oven unless it's oven safe. But surely it would be okay, just long enough to brown. I'm not baking anything. I'm just toasting the top of my meringue. What's it going to hurt? Well, let me tell you, that was a disaster. I hear this big boom. And I look, and there's this sticky, hot mess in the oven with broken glass. And the oven is hot. And, I couldn't clean it up because the oven's hot. And so I had to let the oven cool off, be careful picking up all the glass out of the oven, cleaning up that very sticky mess. And, I was going to a potluck, so I had to stop at the store and pick up a cake because, I had nothing to bring. And, having to clean that up left me no time to make anything. So, I had a success, but then I blew it, you could be walking somewhere and drop a cake you made, and get frustrated. Yeah, I was frustrated, but, things like that happen. So I just want to be here for you. If you have questions about anything, do you need to know how to make substitutions? For instance, I wanted to make biscuits one Saturday morning, and I used buttermilk to make biscuits. I didn't have any buttermilk, but I had regular milk. So what I did was I took the regular milk, I put just a few drops of lemon juice and a few drops of vinegar in it and let it sit for a little while. And it was a good substitute to put in my biscuits as buttermilk. Now, I wouldn't recommend drinking it if you like to drink buttermilk. I don't particularly like to drink buttermilk, but if you do, it's not suitable for drinking. But for baking, it's a great substitute. So different things like that. So is there a recipe that you would like to learn how to make? If you would comment below, I'd love to hear from you. I have my email linked in the description. You can email me, and if I don't have the answer, I'll help you find the answer. Maybe we can find it together. But if I know, I'm happy to help you, and I'm here to guide you on your journey to bring that creative spark of cooking into your life, if you desire to do so. Because cooking can be a beautiful art. It provides nutrition for your body, for your family. It's delicious meals. You don't have to eat out all the time, which gets expensive and it gets very unhealthy. And, eating out occasionally, that's fine. And a good way to start maybe, get a meal plan. I don't do this. We've done it before, but so I know that it would work for you. Something like a HelloFresh meal plan or Every Plate. We've tried those too. They come, like 3 a week, and you get the recipes, you get the ingredients. I know HelloFresh, they come in individual bags. It's really easy. I'm not advertising for them. I'm not sponsored by them. It's just a suggestion to get you started. All the ingredients are there. You do have to prepare it. You do have to cut the vegetables. But everything is there for you, and they have the recipe card to follow it. So that might be a start. Looking through some cookbooks. The World Wide Web is there for you at your disposal. You have Pinterest, you have YouTube. So there's many ways to learn how to make something. And once you are successful at making a dish and it's delicious and you enjoyed it, you'll be hooked. So I hope you will join me in my mini series of Cooking 101. And it's just basics to learn how to cook. But also, if you are novice at cooking, I'll be creating some recipes that, you may want to try yourself. Some nights you need quick and easy. So I'll be here to help you with that too. So if you would like to follow me on this journey and learn how to cook and learn the basics of cooking, I hope you will like this video, share this video, and subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you'll be notified when I put up a new video. So I hope you enjoyed this series, and please ask me questions via email or in the comments. So I hope to see you in the next one and many more to follow. So until then, I hope you have a blessed evening.